On March 26th, the Florida Theater, it's going to be a movable feast of guitar virtuosity featuring two of the greatest to ever strap up. I'm talking about Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. Satch Vai is coming to town, and we are lucky enough to have the both of them on the phone right now. Fellas, it's an honor.
Thank you.
Right on,
bro. Thanks for having us.
Man, I got to tell you.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
First and foremost, Steve Vai, I promise you that you beat Ralph Macchio in that guitar duel. I got to tell you that. Right off the
The
jump.
jury is still out.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was pulling for you the whole time. You actually, I wanted to dress like that, but they didn't have those clothes in Husky Kids, so I couldn't dress that way. Very disappointing. And can I call you Satch, Joe? Because I think that's a cool...
Whatever you like. I've been called worse, so that's okay.
And I came to you, Joe, as Dreaming Number 11 was my first introduction to you. My uncle played it for me, and I was like, wow. And now it's kind of like, to me, it's one of the standards of instrumental albums. So
wow,
I'm
a
big fan of you guys, man. It's just it's. I've been thinking about this all week, trying to think of things to talk to you guys about because I want to talk so much. But first and foremost, you guys coming to town to the Florida Theater. The Florida Theater is a beautiful place. It's been revamped. So tell us a little bit about the show. I know that you guys are, friends. You've been friends for 50 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
At least.
We grew up in the same town, went to the same public high school, and we've known each other since we were young teenagers. Actually, Steve was 12 when we met, so he wasn't a teenager yet. So, wow, what a journey. We've been playing guitar since we were kids together, and we still love just getting on stage and seeing what we can do.
I know. What are the odds? I think about that through our whole lives, that we've had such great good fortune and opportunities to tour together and travel the world together. I mean, Joe and I, together with G3, have been on so many corners of the globe, and we brought it together again for the last few weeks. We did the G3 tour with Eric Johnson, and it really cemented in my mind that we're top of the game. We're really looking forward to this tour. We're oiled up, and we know that the fans love this kind of thing, and we're just so eager to give it to them.
It's just crazy to think that you guys went to the same high school because of your level of guitar level. It's like finding out Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix had the same babysitter. It's blowing my mind right now. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Can you imagine having to take care of a young Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton? What a nightmare.
But
well, what's odd is Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck lived right near each other and hung out similarly as teenagers, from what I understand.
Maybe it's a situation then of steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? Were you guys competitive in that?
I got to say that I was a really young guitar teacher when Steve showed up at my door looking for guitar lessons. And within just a few weeks, I got a lesson in life about how, like, every second some new amazing talent is born, and there is a challenge there, when you decide you're going to call yourself a guitar teacher, to actually do it right, especially when you have someone with such amazing talent show up at your door. You feel, responsible to step up your own game so that you can keep up with your students. I always felt like it was a gift to be able to teach somebody like Steve. And we were really both beginners. I was just a couple of steps ahead of him, really. So we kind of joined forces early, and I think we helped each other every step of the way just by our individual passions and drive to get better as musicians, as guitar players, as artists, just to try to see what we can do.
Steve,
and the bonus is that we get to do it together. That's what's really cool.
Steve,
and my perspective. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Well, it's interesting because my perspective, what I can remember from a 12-year-old. the, the the guitar was it just seemed like a treasure, you know. It was like a gift. And Joe, to me, he held all the secrets, you know. And it was just so fortunate and so odd. It makes you think that at any point the universe is going to tap you on the shoulder and go, you see, I told you I made this life for you. You know, because it just turned out so great. And I would have never thought that Joe was a beginner back then, because he always was connected with the instrument, and all of the lessons were selfless and giving and strict and unbelievably educational. And this, so when you see somebody through those eyes, they're more of a mentor. And I've watched you. I've been so lucky through my whole career, besides being able to, besides the friendship and all, to see somebody navigate so beautifully, so musically, and so independently with his music. That is an inspiration, you know. And of course, whenever he would come out with a really great record, I would think to myself, okay, now I got to come out with a great record too. You know?
Right, yeah.
So we did, in ways, keep each other's bar kind of high through the years. And this was a beautiful gift for both of us. And now we're going to do it again, and even deeper, because we're writing music now together. And we're looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, so I heard you guys talking. You are working on some music together and videos and stuff, right?
Yeah, we shot a crazy video directed by my son ZZ last week. It's going to be quite a shock when people see this. And really a lot of fun. And we've got about 3 songs that are pretty much finished for the album we're working on, and we've got a bunch of other ideas that we're sort of emailing back and forth to each other. So we'll be working on that. We hope to get that out by early next year.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, we will get it out by early next year. And when we hit the road in a number of weeks, we'll at least have those 3 songs that we might be able to play live. So it's moving fast and in a wonderful, furious manner.
Yeah, vocals and stuff on there.
Yeah.
At all?
Not yet.
Okay.
Steve won't let me sing.
Ah, sounds like my wife.
I got the duct tape.
Yeah, smart. So
this is a good thing.
I tell you, I tell you what's so fascinating when you're writing music like this with somebody, and we're talking melodies, we're talking chord changes, and you get deep into that whole kind of musical atmosphere. It's very, very different than sitting alone and doing it, you know. And it's so much fun. It's so different than anything I've engaged with, because Joe is so musical, and we both play the guitar. We have sort of similar sensibilities, but it's really new and fresh and wonderful. That sounds like a commercial.
It does.
You should put that on the front of the CD.
Album title.
New and fresh and wonderful. Are you guys still learning stuff from each other even after all these years?
Oh yeah.
I don't think
I got to tell you a funny story. Steve doesn't know this at all, but it was something that just happened. So we were playing 2 shows at the Orpheum, and ZZ was filming it for the documentary. I mean, there was a lot going on, recording the live album and everything. And we had some special guests as well. So at the end of the night, we brought out some cool, amazing guitar players. One of them was Jason Richardson, who's just a phenomenal guitarist. And we're all standing on stage, and usually I'm all the way stage right, and I direct all the soloists to start on stage left. So it usually starts with Eric Johnson on this tour. And so when you're at stage right, you get to hear everybody else solo until it's your turn, right? So I'm standing there next to Jason, and Steve starts his solo, and he goes into something that is completely Steve Vai, completely bizarre. And we just look at each other when we put our hands up, and we go like, "What is that? Like, how do you follow that?" You know. You didn't see this, Steve, because you were standing a couple of steps ahead of us, and you were like deep into thy world, you know. Yes, we do. Every night we learn from each other because the nature of what we do is we try things out. We just improvise, and we're, you know, fearless to try to see if we can come up with something brand new. And so that was just so funny, especially Jason, who's so amazing. And he looked at me like, what is that? Like, what is he doing?
Well, you know, it's so funny. I remember because I'm up, you know, you're up there and you're watching everybody go, and you know, I'm thinking, okay, I better be, you know, I better keep it down to earth. This is being filmed, it's being recorded. Don't do anything too crazy, you know, weird, you know, you might hit wrong notes, whatever, you know. And as soon as I step up there, you know, my hand says, "Oh no, you don't. You're going to do this." You know? And you're pushed into being more you, though, because everybody around you is so them. You know, it's encouraging and it lifts your bar.
Is it hard?
It does.
Is it hard to find people at your level of musical ability to play in your bands? Because it seems like, you know, it'd be hard to find people to be able to keep up, you know?
Well, I can say that over the years, I have always looked for band members that have something unique. And if there's something technical that they're lacking, you know, I work around it. You know, it's really not a requirement. Yeah. What I don't like is someone who's completely, let's say, technically competent, but has nothing unusual, artistic, or original to offer to the unit. It doesn't seem to make any sense. And I never considered myself like a phenomenally, you know, technically gifted player. I have these things that are very idiosyncratic that I love to do. And so I try to get band members that are pretty much like me. You know, they have their quirks, but they have these, you know, incredible, unique gifts that they seem to be able to bring out like every night on stage, no matter what. And but yeah, there's so many great musicians out there. I mean, I could put together 100 bands and still not be satisfied.
That's awesome.
Similar here too. One of the things that the prerequisites that I've changed through the years is, of course, you want all those wonderful qualities in somebody that resonates with your music, that gets it. That in my case, you know, a lot of it's pretty straight ahead rock and roll with some quirky stuff, and they got to understand all that. And that used to be the first prerequisite. But after touring for so many years, one of the first things I look for a band member is somebody that's just a happy person. You know, somebody that is roadworthy.
Sure, that you have to spend time with, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when you get out on tour, there's no secrets at sea, you know, and if somebody is a bad egg, they turn into really big jerks, you know, and it has a tendency to disrupt the whole thing. So they got to be happy people that love the exploration and the adventure of touring, and also be able to play their ass off.
Yeah.
That sounds like the ad that you would place to find the person.
Yeah.
Happy person that can play their ass off. Call this number. So the show coming up March 26th at the Florida Theater. How does it break down? Do you guys take turns? Do you play together? Do you share a band? How does it all work?
Oh yeah, that's funny. We sort of kept that out of our minds for a while because we were so deep into the G3.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the tried and true performance rules still always make sense, which is, you know, your fans are showing up and they want to see you play their favorite songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we never let anything get in the way of that. So Steve will bring his own band, I will bring my own band. We will be able to deliver to the audience you know, what they expect from each one of us, and then we'll play together at the end of the night. And that'll be the special surprise that we're kind of working on over the next few weeks.
Spoiler alert.
Nail down exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
How many guitars do you guys bring on the road? I mean, how many guitars do you have, number one, and how many guitars do you bring with you on the road?
I bring all 729 guitars.
Good Lord.
And I carry his cases.
I don't, the last tour we did, I tried to limit myself, and I think I only brought 5, and I think I only played 4 during the show. I didn't keep track of how many Steve brought. How many did you bring, Steve?
I'd have to count, but it's really based on the songs we're playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a song that's got a different tuning, and then I've got a song that requires a semi-hollow body, and then I've got the Hydra. So I probably brought same thing, maybe 8 or so guitars, and played 7 of them.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot less than I thought it was going to be, frankly. Because especially with you, Steve, like you had the flame guitar from the first single, and the heart guitar from Yankee Rose. Do you still own those?
Well, no. The flame guitar I sold for a friend, and I had 3 heart guitars. 2 of them were red, and I kind of donated those to various things. And I got the big purple heart, and I'm looking at it right now. It's hanging on my wall.
Nice.
We come across a lot of guitars. It's not like we go out and collect hundreds of guitars. It's because of the nature of what we do, and working with such a great company like Ibanez, that we have this opportunity to create signature instruments. And every year when you go through the process of that, you get prototypes and things coming in. So years of that, and you tell somebody, well, I have 400 guitars. 400? No, I actually only probably paid for 10 of them.
For every good model, that comes out, whether it's a Gem or a JS, there's usually like 15 semi-Frankenstein-looking ones where we tried the craziest ideas, and then slowly tried to, work on things like just the quality of the wood, the nature of the frets, the way that wind the pickups, and the different potentiometers and capacitors that go into the electronics. So what do you do with those? When you finish, you kind of want to have them to refer to later, because, some of the elements may work for a model 3 years from now. So it's a funny collection.
And you both play Ibanez? That's the company you guys both work with?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you collaborate, or is it individually you have your own guitars?
Oh, it's individual.
Okay. Guys, I could keep you here all day, but I know I'm not supposed to do that. Is there any opportunity for people to come up and try to get their head cuts at the show on March 26th?
I will be shaving heads for free out by the tour bus.
Yeah, you used to have that. You had that glorious hair, Joe. You had that big, beautiful mane of hair, and now you're real smooth. You're real aerodynamic nowadays.
Yes.
Really living that Silver Surfer.
It was quite liberating because I never had like what we used to call good rock and roll hair.
Yeah.
Even as early as in my high school bands, and a couple of guys in the bands always had like the perfect hair that looked like they could have been in Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath, and I had something else going on, And I tried everything. I got through the 80s somehow, and then finally in the 90s it was like, okay, I've had enough of this. So I just sort of got in line with the rest of my wonderful relatives and went au naturel.
It's just so much better. Yeah,
and he has a great head for it.
He really does. Some people don't have the head for it, but he really does.
Yes, he does.
I had long hair and I cut it, and it was like the best decision I ever made, because it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more important to you when you're younger, I guess.
Yeah, it's just rebellion. It's that rock and roll thing, I guess. Like, just, I don't know. But, I mean, who needs long hair when you guys can play like you play, honestly?
It's funny that there was a turning point. Steve and I went to Carr Place High School, public high school, right in the middle of this very small town on Long Island. And in the high school, I was on the fitness team, and the team had won 5 national championships in a row, and my brother and I were both on the team. And I was really into the whole thing of physical fitness, but I was also starting to be in a rock band that played out live, and I had really long hair. And the coach came to me one day and he said, "You're going to have to cut your hair or you can't be on the team." And I quit the team because it was, it was like, cut my hair? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
That's
How long it took me?
That's so similar. That's very similar to the Leonard Skinner story, because down here, Skinner is everything, and that's kind of the reason they became Leonard Skinner is because the coach, Leonard, his name was Leonard Skinner. He said that all the boys had to cut their hair and they wouldn't do it. So it's such a great story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
I saw Leonard Skinner play with Black Sabbath at the Long Island Coliseum when I was in high school. They were awesome. They were really great.
Wow.
Can we just talk about how I think Tony Iommi is tragically underrated? Like, I know that he's famous, but I just think that he doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he did.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan. Always have been. Always have. I must have listened to about 6 hours of Sabbath this week already, so you don't need to twist my arm.
I'm the same way, man. I absolutely adore it. And, like, just as far as, like, writing riffs, I feel like nobody talks about him, and I feel like he's so underrated. And Steve Gaines.
In the guitar community, Tony is like a godfather.
He should be.
He is very, very well respected, and I think just the perfect, absolutely perfect for the function he performed in that band and what he brought. And, the combination of all the individual members. But Tony is beloved in the metal community for sure.
I mean, the way that they would change time, at the drop of a hat was just, it's fantastic. Sorry, I could geek out with music with you guys for the rest of my day. Honestly, it's just I'm really looking forward to the show at Florida Theater. It'll be my first show at the Florida Theater since they redid it. It looks beautiful in the pictures. So it'll be my first show.
Right on.
It's March 26th. Tickets available right now at floridatheater.com. New music on the way from both Joe and Steve together.
You can buy a ticket to the premium meet and greet experience also.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Can I still get my head shaved?
No, it does. It does not include. That's an extra charge.
Haircut not
That's
included.
An extra charge.
Guys, it's really been an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for your time.
So nice to
pleasure.
be with
Thank
you. Thanks. Right on.
All right, guys.
She must be the favorite girl.